we stay informed and true, navigating the rules together.
Hey guys, it's Joel with CoreWare. We're here with episode 7, I believe. Tony, is it 7?
Are we 7? Are we 7?
I think this is 7. And we're a little late this week because Tony dropped the ball. Honestly,
Wow.
in all seriousness, Tony dropped the ball. This compliance corner is it's probably the most important thing we do here, and Tony just completely forgot about it. No, we've been I think we've both been busy this week, especially with the holiday.
Yeah.
And did you have a good Labor Day, Tony?
I had a good Labor Day. Like I said, it's been a hectic couple of weeks for me for outside influences and outside events, but otherwise getting that wrapped up. So we should be good now.
Good. So I know you wanted to go over a couple of things today. What exactly are you going to be walking us through? Do you want me to throw your screen up there?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
So real quick, I just wanted to take some time. And again, as we go through our days watching, talking to dealers and talking to people in trainings, watching the support chats when you are coming in, looking for help and seeing what kind of questions are roll through, just trying to look at how to apply that, some of that basic information, maybe answer some of those questions that are coming through. So today, I just want to kind of touch on the managed 4473 page and that 4473 kind of workflow status. So anybody who's using CoreStore and is using processing 4473s, this page should not be unfamiliar to you. So this is where we process all our 4473s are, and you see in each line item in itself is a separate 4473. This is a training store I'm showing you here, so none of this is live. So if some data looks weird or something, just go with us on that. But each 4473 is laid out here in this page in sections. And that's done specifically because the 4473 is not a hop around process. It is very much a step 1 through 6 style of process. Section A should be created first, even if you're doing paper forms. Section A should be filled out first with the firearm information and everything. CoreStore does that for you. So we're going to assume at this point you've created the order, you've added your customer, you've added the firearm and all of that, and then it'll create that section A for you. But this should be filled out first before you go to a section B. Of course, CoreStore won't let you go to section B without filling that out. But in the entirety of workflow of 4473, part of what the customer is signing off on in section B is the firearm listed, the actual firearm that they are buying. So it's important to go step A, then go to step B, even if you're doing paper forms. And then even the jumping to section C. And I've seen dealers try to jump ahead and try to fill that out ahead of time, even on paper forms. Again, CoreStore won't let you. You can see here on an incomplete section, it won't let you jump ahead. That's by design. Because remember, think back to the 4473 being part of the background check process. We want the customer to fill this out, get that information in for us to be able to verify it before we go in and say we're doing more work. Because if there's something that's not right in this section B, we don't want to keep going on. And then obviously, once section B is good and confirmed, there's section C. That's where we're going to record driver's license information and everything else. In fact, to make this a little bit, I'm going to come down here to one that's been completed. So obviously, if we look at your section A, you have a firearm and you have that information filled out. The section B, again, we cannot edit this as associates in here, which that's by design. Section B is a gun buyer section only. But we can very easily open this up and we can review it and we can make sure all this information is good. And you should be doing that. Don't trust but verify is what you'll always hear me say. Assume the customer got something wrong and look and verify it. When that is good, section C, this is where we're going to designate everything, put all our information in and the type of firearm. And this is our final point of verification of age and residency. Does it match for the type of firearm they're trying to, for the category of firearm they're trying to buy? Their ID information. We're going to do the background check. This is where section C is where all of that occurs and gets and updated appropriately. And then I'm going to go back. let me go back to that main screen. So if we get through all that and get to the point where that is approved, then we can move on. Now, Section D, just to clarify with people, like here you see this is a completed 4473, and Section D is still showing incomplete. That's because for the purposes of this 4473, the background check came back same day. Section D is only required if the firearm is transferring on a day different from when you originally initiated this 4473 and background check. So if you run a background, or if they have a concealed weapons permit that qualifies for the NICS exemption, and they're taking that gun home same day all this started, you can skip that. Leave Section D. You can leave Section D alone at that point, and then you would just go into your Section E for the final the seller to sign off, indicating that the firearm has now been transferred and this 4473 is complete. Now, who should be signing this? It should be the person who's actually handing over the gun to verify. This transfer seller signature, or this information, this statement in here that you're agreeing to and signing to, if you read that language, and if you haven't and you're selling guns, you need to, you are certifying on an individual level as a salesman that this transaction is good and it's legal to the best of your knowledge, and it's not violating law. So this should be signed by the person handing over that firearm at the time of that final transfer to the gun buyer. And then that would constitute a completed 4473 at that point. Now, certainly, again, in the case of a delay where they do leave and they need to come back in and re-sign a Section D, that is logging a customer back in. You would log the customer back in to do that. You cannot do that from this screen. So generally speaking, when we're talking what your kiosk for the customer looks like, it's going to look something like this, minus whatever images or logos you've got posted up. This is that QR code, or that code, that 4473 code that's given to identify the customer for the 4473. They log in here. Remember, continue is for filling out Section B, or if you need to put them back on here to fix something in Section B. Using that code and sign Section D, that's the box you use to get them to sign Section D, okay? So that's how you get them in there, and then after a Section D was signed, same thing, you move on to Section E. Now, for the way CoreStore works, just to answer the question, because this has come up, just because we complete the 4473, the firearm is not yet disposed in your bound book. The disposition of the firearm is triggered by the closing of the original order, by completing that order. That's what will trigger. Now, when you complete the 4473, the system will do some matchup work between the information on the 4473 and the existing customer profile. And it will match that stuff up to correct it and change it and update it to make sure you've got the most recent, most current, most accurate information going into that disposition record as possible. But again, a lot of times the question comes up is, well, why, if they sign Section D or Section E, why does that not trigger the disposition? And the basic answer is shit happens. Customers will cancel orders. Sometimes they walk away. Sometimes they don't complete this. So we don't want, even up to Section E. I've seen it right as the salesman's about to hand a gun over. The customer goes, I changed my mind. I want my money back, or whatever the case may be. So we want the ability to not dispose that firearm and not create those permanent records in your bound books at this point until you know that firearm is gone. So that's why we let. And keep in mind too, Section D does not indicate transfer of firearm. Section D is just the customer telling us that all this information they put in Section B did not change from when they originally filled it out. That is all still good. Section D does not indicate the transfer of the firearm. Section E on the 4473, that signature is what indicates the firearm finally transferred. Okay. And then from here, once you've got this completed, go into that work, find that original order, that original POS transaction, complete that out to trigger your disposition of the firearm in your bound book. So that's kind of how that workflow should work, and in some ways why we set it up that way. Okay.
So, Tony, let me ask you this, because I know a lot of people that we're talking to, they may do this every day, right?
Mhm.
Obviously,
Yep.
multiple times a day. However, they may have people on their team who they expect to do this as flawlessly as you do, and they may not. do you think a future webinar, and this is for everybody out there, if you would like to see this, respond in the comments. But Tony, do you think a future webinar would be really good in meticulously going over the 4473 and any other forms that employees may be overseeing as the people are filling out? Do you think that would be a good, I don't look at it from your expertise, look at it from, hey, I'm brand new at this place, I don't understand any of this stuff, you know?
So 100% that's a possibility. And again, today is a very brief kind of
Yeah.
overflow of the workflow, because I've seen some chats roll through on people who know how to do 4473s asking these questions, or they're using a different workflow and they're wondering why isn't this doing this, or why isn't it doing this? It's because
Right.
your workflow isn't really matching up with. So again, remember, anytime you go to a new software, you might have to adjust some things and how you're doing it, whatever that system is. So I just wanted to kind of clarify kind of how that workflow works. And certainly there's also other things I want to go into in a future session about why is this red? Why is this marked black NA? And there's different sets, but 100% for a beginning FFL, especially, is there a benefit to going over that 4473 block by block and stuff like that, and explaining that and walking through this process from its entirety? 100% we could do something like that if that's going to be beneficial.
So there you have it. Episode 7 is in the books, and we can go on and finish section E on this, right? Because we've
look, Joel's learning.
I'm learning. So we're going to section E this episode of Compliance Corner. Again, if you have something specific you would like Tony to cover, this could be for you or for your employees, because what we want you to do is we want you to use everything that we're putting out as training material for the people that are, moving these guns for you in your store. So, and again, we know that we're probably talking to very knowledgeable people, but please realize there may be people that work for you or that are, doing the same job that you're doing, and they may not know as much as you. And that's, and as I get older, Tony, I'm learning that causes so many issues in, work environments and family, because we all think, hey, these people should know this because I know it. And it's like, no, dude, that's not how the world works.
Right.
We're supposed to be a team, whether we like each other or not. We're on this rock together. And we just need to figure out how to work as smoothly as possible. And again, that's what Tony's here for. So if you would like to see something specific for him to cover in Compliance Corner, put it in the comments. We appreciate you watching. We appreciate you joining us. I'm sorry on Tony's behalf that he's late this week. This is going to be going out in our Core Weekly. And if you're not signed up for our Core Weekly, let us know in the comments and I'll get you signed up. Just drop your email in the comments, unless you don't want to get spammed by everybody else that sees it. Or you can I'll throw my email address up here, and you can email me personally. Because I don't mind. I get so many spam emails. I'm telling you, man, LinkedIn is a cesspool.
Oh, God,
you want to get just a ton of trash emails every day, just sign up for LinkedIn. It's like, what the heck, man? We're paying for this. Why are they, just please. Anyway, that's an aside. Tony, parting words, any wisdom that you can leave everyone with?
You know what? We make a big deal about us having our caffeine here, stuff like that, and having our morning coffees. And I've had people ask me, it's like, why coffee so important to you? And it's like, you know what I always say? I says, coffee in the morning doesn't necessarily solve any of my problems, but I'm pretty sure it prevents me from creating some new ones.
It absolutely prevents me from creating new ones. I guarantee you. Although I did see an article this morning that coffee could be lowering our magnesium. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to quit drinking coffee. I'm going to up my magnesium. So
there you go.
With that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in episode 8.
Welcome to the Compliance Corner, where we stay informed and true, navigating the rules together to keep our freedom shining through.